a coach, as a trainer, and different modalities. Now, today, we have, as I have mentioned even in the description that I sent you all a couple of days back, a powerhouse of different modalities and a versatile profile, I can say, who has helped different parts of the society, and she has been helping. She's been recognized as well for the work that she's immensely doing for the society and corporates as well. So I welcome here our guest for the final session. And this time, for a change, rather than me reading out the bio, I want her to highlight the points from her bio for all of us before I start asking the questions. So here we have Padmajaa Iyer. And ma'am, we are eager to hear from you.
Thank you, Mansi. Thank you so much for this warm welcome. And I thank each one of you all for joining today, and today being a weekday. And despite that, if you all are joining, I'm really grateful for that. So if I was to speak about my profile, I really think that, I've been very fortunate and I've been blessed to be recognized by the universe, whichever way I've been recognized. I just feel that I've been just living my life. I've done nothing out of the ordinary. I've just been living my day-to-day life, and life took me on this path, and then things just happened. But just to give you a context, I didn't intend to be this person. First of all, I had no clue what I was going to be in life. I wanted to be 100 things when I was a little girl. But eventually, the story of my life led me to become this person. And maybe I will go into the story a little bit later. But if I have to just basically tell you, I started off with a background from past life regression therapy. I started off, first of all, as a meditator. I started meditating because I was diagnosed at one point of time in my life with an illness which was supposed to have no cure. And the doctor had said I just had 10 years till the time I was in a wheelchair. And this was in 1998. And my daughter was just she was my second born, and she was just 3 days old when this diagnosis happened. My entire pregnancy was a very painful one. My son was 4 years old at that time. And I was just given this time period, and my marriage was already on the verge of collapse. And I was a single mother from the time my daughter was born, or maybe a year later. But this, listening to the doctor's diagnosis, my brain just kept saying, no, I'm not ready to die still. I'm not ready. This can't be happening to me. I have these two children to raise. And I think it was that single most strongest thought or intent that crept into my mind at that point of time, which shifted the course of my life. And it led me to the different masters who came into my life. And just they guided. It was like as if the entire universe was waiting for me to make that one decision, saying that, are you going to say yes to life or no to life? Right. So I decided in that moment, because of that small baby in my arms, I said, no, I don't have time to die. That was the thing I told my sister who was next to me. I don't have time to die now. Right. And I think immediately it so happened that, yeah, it was not as easy as I'm saying now, but I always found that there were teachers in different forms who came into my life, and they held my hand and they took me through these various paths, the untrodden paths. So if you ask me, I have never gone the conventional way. I never studied all of these things when I was studying. Yeah, I did study psychology as a subject when I was doing my BA. I majored in music, actually. I was also a student of Kalakshetra College of Fine Arts, Chennai. I studied Carnatic classical vocal as well as Veena. So I used to play the Veena very well. But when all of this happened, I think music went out of my life. But later on, because of one of my gurus, I realized the importance of that music, learning music in my current profession. Right. So the teacher, the master under whom I trained, Dr. Newton Kondaveti, he once blessed me and said, Padmajaa, you are born to heal with your voice. You just have to talk to people and they will go healed. And this is my blessing for you. And this is what you have come to do. He somehow opened me to my strengths. At that point of time, none of my strengths were visible to me. And this is how gurus and masters come into your life to light that lamp in your life and to show the brightness that is there around you and to show you the path. And that is how it started. But before I met Dr. Newton also, I had met certain teachers who came in the form of tarot card readers, but who also guided me and showed me what I was here to do. And I had started meditating, I had started practicing Kriya Yoga, I had started practicing breath work very early on in life. So all that happened. Then through past life regression, then I went to, practice inner child work. And believe me, none of this was intended as something that I will take up as a profession. This was to just heal myself. My sole intention at that point of time was to keep myself alive and to reverse whatever it is, to at least I told myself, if nothing, I owe it to my children to be there around them till a certain age where they can take care of themselves. And that's all I asked from God at that point of time. And I went one after the other. I trained in all of these things. And then in past life regression, there is this point where when you do the training, you're also supposed to do a certain thesis. You have to do some case histories, go and do those sessions, come back with your compilation of your thesis, and then there is a viva, and then there's a written exam that we do. And because of that, I took up counseling people and started talking to people very early on in life, at that point of time. And somehow just happened that whoever came, they went back feeling completely healed, and they went back feeling that something fantastic had happened in their lives. I also had this ability, I still have it, but I didn't dwell deep into it. This ability to talk to uh, energies around, or to get messages from energies around. I have been highly intuitive, I think, from my childhood, but I realized it only then. And all of that was very, very supporting to what I was doing. I thought I was healing myself, but this was the universe's way of bringing me to my path of purpose, what I'm here to do in my life. So I trained in all of those modalities, inner child work, rebirthing breath work. I trained under the creator of it also, Leonard Orr, he's no more, and under Dr. Newton also. And I also did intensive training in theta healing under the masters. And other than that, I did so many other things which kept coming up. It was like the universe was throwing this and that and this and that. Like we put masalas right over a dish. Okay, we put haldi, then we put dhania, then we put garam masala, then we put kasuri methi, you put salt. Okay, you add the cashew paste, so you add. So in that way, the things were just coming left, right, and center. And I also saw, you see, I was not even financially strong at that time because my marriage had just broken. And at that point of time, things were not very pleasant in between me and my ex-husband, and we had still not gone through the divorce. It took a long time for the divorce to come through, and so I was cut off from all the finances. Though I came from a very wealthy family, I had no access to money, and I was living on a day-to-day basis, just trying to figure out how can I pay this month's rent and this month's fees for my children, and some basic things for my kitchen. And other than this work, I was also doing network marketing on the side, selling products to make some extra money. I was also taking care of elderly people who had no one to take care of them, and their rich children who lived abroad used to pay me for taking care of them. So my job would be to sit and read to them, or hold their hands and heal them, or take them to the doctor, or withdraw money from the ATM. Simple things like that. So I used to get paid 5,000, 10,000 a month, and all these things put together, I think I have also done business in a lot of things. I used to purchase saris in South India and sell them in North India for double the cost. I used to purchase undergarments from Ludhiana, which was the place where they make really good ones, and sell them in South India for double or triple the cost. And I'm sharing these with you all because it's not that only counseling or therapy or mentoring has been my profession. I have done every possible thing under the sun to raise my children and to run my family. But all the time, all along, I kept meeting masters. I kept meeting people who introduced me to different ways of recognizing what I had in me that I could offer to the world. I just see that. I don't see what I do as my profession, or this is what I do. I just feel that I was fortunate enough to recognize that I am a medium for those skills to flow through me, for people, the world to benefit around me. And I felt really fortunate as I grew older. I saw that, the magic in the day-to-day life and every single moment as it was unfolding. And as I look back, I do not regret any experience of my life. And I just think that every single challenge that came into my life has just made me into who I am today. And I'm very grateful for that. And so that's
Beautiful.
in a nutshell about what I do. And yeah, my corporate stint. So as I was coursing through life, doing all these things, and one fine day I get a call from a corporate in Bangalore saying that, Padmajaa, we've heard about your work and we would like for you to come and set up a wellness program for our 3,000 employees. And believe
So,
me, I had
Padmaja,
no.
I'll just ask you to hold on here before we get into
All
the
right,
corporate. Yeah.
all right, all
Okay.
right,
So just to like set the tone right before we enter the corporate side of Padmaja. Okay. I mean the corporate trainer side of Padmaja, I would say.
all right.
So, I mean, with this whole thing that you were just trying to tell us, it was such a beautiful narration that actually we were like, trying to go with you in the whole phase of how you actually emerged from where you were. And I think it's a beautiful example of universe always knocks at our doors. It depends on how receptive we are. And I think you
Right.
showed us how once when you are receptive, the beautiful music, just the whole thing is orchestrated in a way that we feel that it's actually a detour to where we wanted to go, but it was actually a path which was going to take us to something which meant to happen in our life, the growth and the higher dimension where we really are meant to be, I think. So that's the beautiful
Absolutely.
way how you put it across. And as I said, the more receptive you are, slowly universe has a way of unfolding what really needs to enter your life. And I think the way you said the masters kept coming, and of course we have to run our life. I mean, because I have always said this to the students here multiple times, that the only project and the bigger project that we always work on is we ourselves. And whatever happens
Correct.
through us, we are just the instrument, and we happen to in the way or in the process heal others who come our way and help somewhere, but we are actually working on ourselves. And that's why I think your biodata mentions, and how beautifully you have put it, each human has immense inner potential to figure out their own life path. And I think the way you have been able to figure out your life path has actually led many lives to find their own path through you being the medium to find that. And one more thing that I really loved out of the profile that you had sent me, that you are a teacher and a student. And this particular approach of yours has helped you to help other people on your way in this journey, as maybe a therapist, as a counselor, the different modalities that you use. So now with this background, I want you to first give a glimpse of how this particular approach of yours help you with your clients, and then slowly will progress to the corporate side of your work, if that's okay.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely fine. So you mean the part where I say that I'm not only a teacher but a student also? That is what you
Absolutely.
mean,
And
right?
that approach, how does it help you with your clients? And,
Yeah,
if you want to just share something about it.
absolutely. So there are two aspects to this. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
one is in my work itself. This concept of my external world is a reflection of my internal state of being. All right. This has been one of the foremost principles I have always uh, held on to very dearly. Why? Because there is nothing further away from the truth than this. That
True.
every client who comes into my world is nothing but a reflection of me and is here to help me also on my growth. Every person who's coming into my universe is just coming because there is a resonance. There is something not only for me to share with them, but there's a symbiosis of energy that is happening, right? As I am sitting here as a channel, so theta healing was one of the most, uh, you know, path-breaking studies that I did or practice the healing modalities. Why? Because it gave me the thought, otherwise before that, I was under the impression that, okay, a healer is sitting there and healing people. This healer has some special powers or some energies, and that is what they use and they heal. And it may be true in some in cases, but theta healing makes it very clear. The presupposition here is that you are just a medium for the universal truth or divine intelligence to flow through you and for you to witness the healing in the person sitting in front of you. I am not the healer. The creator is the healer. I'm sitting just to witness that healing and maybe show them the path that maybe you can try this or maybe you can try that. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because theta healing is also based on this very famous scientific experiment that you all must have heard of, called the double slit experiment.
Yes.
Right? In the double slit experiment, it has been proven that something happens only when it has been witnessed. Right? So exactly, this is also that here in theta healing, I am sitting here as a witness to your healing. Your body, the intelligence of your body and mind is capable of healing yourself. And I just have to guide you to allow that intelligence to awaken and for the healing to happen with the grace of the creator. You know, that is the basis on which theta healing. So that is where I sit as a student during uh, for every session. Even now, every session I'm sitting there. I have a certain prayer that I go through before I sit for a session. I invoke the energies of certain gods and goddesses that I believe in, and also of certain masters. And I just say that, may you speak to me. For example, before I sat for this session here, I invoked Ganpati and I invoked Saraswati. I said, Ganesha, please sweep away all the obstacles in my mind that could, hinder my speech. And Saraswati, you sit at the tip of my tongue so that I speak with wisdom and I speak with, clarity, so that it is useful to the people who come into my universe. So I sit in this way, open to also receiving. Why? Because I know that my external world is a reflection of my state of being. If that client is having that problem, it is for me to also look at how I'm healing myself as I'm sharing the wisdom that is flowing through me. Right? That is one aspect of being a student. The other aspect of being a student is that I'm constantly learning. I'm learning. I've decided that till the day I die, I'm going to be learning something or the other. It may be related to the work that I do. It may not be related. It could be related to something I'm interested in, right? But I am never going to stop studying in my life. So this is how I meant that I am constantly always playing the role of a teacher and a student.
Absolutely. How wonderful. And I think the approach towards life, and the way you mentioned when your child was small, and I don't have time to die. It's a beautiful approach to say that half living or halfway living is no chance. I have to be consciously living until the time I am here. And I think that's the way you have been living ever since then, and that's what has brought you to where you are today. But then I also want to ask you one thing, that how beautifully you said that you invoke certain with your prayers, like certain goddess, your masters and all. And of course, I mean, as you beautifully put it across, that we are just an instrument to just pass on what comes. They're meant to be healed, but then we are just the instrument sitting there. But nevertheless, since you have learned so many modalities, and there are clients from different parts of the society whom you actually come across on a daily basis, how do you decide on which modalities would fit? So, or it just flows through you and you just understand how you want to help this particular client or help him or her healing journey?
Absolutely. You've already said it that, it is not for us to decide what to use. It is for us to practice our trade. If I learn a tool, it is for me to practice it on myself till I am working. See, that is the whole intent of learning anything. It's not how can I use this on someone else. It is how can I first clear my own baggage? How can I sit with an openness where when a client comes into my space, he doesn't feel burdened with my baggage also. We are all energy beings. We are constantly reading energy. We are intuitively receiving and sending out messages. There's this interesting thing that I heard recently, is that when you're sitting with a person, if anybody is anxious, anxiety is also like a virus which can travel through the air and infect the other person in front of you. And that is why, for us as counselors, therapists, mentors, or teachers, it is so important for us to work on our own baggage so that we are not infecting them with our own issues and our own baggage, right? So, like you said, it is not for us to decide what will I do with this person, right? The most important thing, I think, is first of all, the practice of meditation and getting in touch with yourself is a huge tool. It's a big tool for us to be able to receive that intuition as to what will work best for them. The second thing is deep listening. These two aspects are non-negotiable, and I think you don't have to worry about what will I use. Do we as counselors and therapists even know what the client is going to talk about today? No, we can't sit with a book or a journal or your notes there and refer to your notes, right? We sit there with an open mind that yes, I am prepared to receive whatever he's here, because my only duty is to listen deeply, nothing else.
True.
Right? So when I'm listening deeply and when I'm meditating enough, when I'm working on my own baggage, the wisdom will flow through as to what is best for this person. And that is what we offer to them. We don't have to plan or think or, say, I'll get back to you. None of that. None of us do that, right? So it is just the deeper we work on ourselves, the more effortless this process becomes of being able to share those modalities and tools appropriately. You know, when I joined the corporate, I was given 3,000 left-brained individuals, engineers straight out of college. All right. Now you can imagine, I come from a holistic background of hypnotherapy and regression therapy and inner child and all of that. It took me 6 months to change or to present my knowledge in a way that could be received by these left-brained people. And after 6 months, I had the meeting out of my hand, and they were so open to even all of these practices. I used to run these breathwork workshops where the science is based on our pranamaya kosha, all our pancha koshas, our 5 sheets of existence, which we study about in the Patanjali Yoga Sutra. And the pranamaya kosha is the 72,000 energy channels, the nadis in our body, which we work on through breath work, through breath work, we release our baggage. And you won't believe that was one of my most popular workshops there, because they understood energy. They started understanding the language of energy, So I'm saying it is a matter of tact. Okay, when you meet a person, it is for us to have that conversation to gauge where is this person, what is their level of understanding about these things, and to present to them the concepts in the language that they understand. If they are scientifically oriented, do your research on everything that you do, get information, scientific information, get data, and present it to them and tell them, you know what, I want you to sit with an open mind. I'm not promising you anything. Why don't you yourself explore this along with me? This is how we can start off the journey. And then you can basic background of hypnotherapy and regression therapy and inner child and all of that. It took me 6 months to change or to present my knowledge in a way that could be received by these left-brained people. And after 6 months, I had the meeting out of my hand, and they were so open to even all of these practices. I used to run these breathwork workshops where the science is based on our pranamaya kosha, all our pancha koshas, our 5 sheets of existence, which we study about in the Patanjali Yoga Sutra. And the pranamaya kosha is the 72,000 energy channels, the nadis in our body, which we work on through breath work, through breath work, we release our baggage. And you won't believe that was one of my most popular workshops there, because they understood energy. They started understanding the language of energy, So I'm saying it is a matter of tact. Okay, when you meet a person, it is for us to have that conversation to gauge where is this person, what is their level of understanding about these things, and to present to them the concepts in the language that they understand. If they are scientifically oriented, do your research on everything that you do, get information, scientific information, get data, and present it to them and tell them, you know what, I want you to sit with an open mind. I'm not promising you anything. Why don't you yourself explore this along with me? This is how we can start off the journey. And then you can slowly introduce them. I have clients, can you believe I have clients in Saudi Arabia, an entire group of people who are locals of Saudi Arabia, and they come every year to attend a retreat along with me. It's a personalized for their group alone. I run retreats for them in India, and then I go there and I do one-on-one sessions and workshops also for them. So if a person from Saudi Arabia can understand these modalities, I think, it is just a matter of time for us to be able to use whatever is best for them according to the need, but being in tune with our intuition.
Absolutely. So true. You said it. So, I mean, this is really wonderful. And now this leads me to two deeper questions here. Okay. Of course, since you're congruent with how you work and what you are ideally, That's why the flow is so seamless, and you don't have to think of what and which modality will I use. But then in today's world, when there is so much need for counselors, therapists, because the sheer unrest in the world and so many things happening around, we are in such demand, but somewhere we also deplete our energy, right? So as you rightly said, that how you pray and meditate to just ground yourself, but sometimes it gets very difficult with back to back clients and going through this. So how do you kind of say a no to client or push it to a next day to refill or refuel yourself before you reach out? Because that's
So one,
always a
yeah.
question, right? The therapist always have this question: how do I say a no to client, because I know that he or she is in need, but I'm myself not feeling full at this moment.
See, I think this situation has never arisen for me. I'll tell you why. Because, like I said, we are energy beings, right?
Absolutely.
When I know I'm not feeling good, I'm not doing good, automatically no clients are reaching out to me, because the energy I'm putting out is such. It has never happened that someone has reached out to me and I've had to tell them, you know what, I'm not in a state of mind. It could be that right now my calendar is full and maybe I can meet you in 15 days or 20 days time. Right now I cannot talk to you. That could be a different thing. But it has never happened that because I'm feeling depleted. See, that sense of being depleted of energy again comes from the belief that I am the person who's healing them.
I agree.
You
True.
see,
True.
yeah, right? So when we step back from that and question that belief, that why am I taking up it upon myself to do the healing? Can I step back and allow miracles to happen and allow the magic to unfold and surrender to this force, this energy? You call it God, you call it divine intelligence, you call it anything, to do the work. And you just sit there. I'm telling you, the client does not want us to do anything other than to listen to them. That is all
True.
that is needed,
True.
right? But if you're dealing with your own thing, yes, do whatever it takes for you to take care of yourself, pamper yourself, get the rest, and have warm fluids. I always say, always resort to warm fluids, because that warm fluid reminds you of your mother's breast milk, which makes you feel nurtured and comforted, And also go back to your, whenever I had COVID twice in 2022, and it really affected my mind, right? It affected my mind in ways that I was noticing. I was totally aware that I'm feeling depressed. Though the depression, everything was okay in my life. There was nothing to feel depressed about. I was noticing that this was the after effect of the virus. And so the best way that I could take care of myself at that point of time was, first of all, to nourish myself. I was cooking my own meals. I live all alone. Both my children are on their own now. So I was cooking my own meal and I was making it a point to drink warm fluids. And I used to take out my childhood pictures and all of that and go through that and create a sense of well-being. When I saw I have 5 older sisters, a huge family. So just feeling that, oh, I have this huge family. I have them for comfort. I'm okay. I'm all right. I can take care of myself. So these things help us. And of course, surrender is the biggest mantra. That when anybody asks me what are your mantras, for me the most important mantra is to surrender to whatever is happening. Even that COVID has come in my life as a teacher. How can I stop resisting it? How can I stop fighting it and allow it to do whatever it has to do within my being? That is something that I have learned through my that condition which I was diagnosed with, right? I think that came as a blessing in my life, just to show me what I'm here to do. So there is no more argument in my life. I don't argue with reality. You know, there is this beautiful, this famous lady called Byron Katie who shares the work. The work is a beautiful modality that you all can explore. She just asks simple 4 questions in the work. But what she says, one of her quotes is, um, uh, choose not to argue with reality. It is what it is, right? For example, the train is late. You can feel, why this train is late? I'm going to miss my other train, or the plane, the flight is getting delayed. I'm going to miss my. You can keep talking, but the flight is delayed. So, is there any point in arguing with reality? No. Now, how can I carry myself through this situation in a way? I wonder what this is trying to teach me. That is a question that could empower you, be more empowering. right?
Absolutely.
So I have decided long ago that I'm not arguing with reality. And one very important, powerful tool that I take myself through regularly, this I've been doing constantly for the past 15, 20 years, is breath work. Every day, I devote 15, 20 minutes to breath work. And that itself is like, cleansing, a daily cleanse that I do of my energy body. So these are my go-to, modalities or tools for self-care.
How wonderful. So beautifully put again. It's been a really wonderful just to listen to you past like over half an hour now. And the way you are actually explaining it to us, it's just like flowing. The words are just actually kind of, it's just a flow is the only word I can say. Now, one more thing here is very interestingly, you mentioned about your corporate training where the 3,000 left brain people, and though we all are actually supposed to be whole brain species, we use left part of our brain more than the right, and making these corporate bunch of people to understand that there is another part of brain which also needs to be used is quite a task. But you have been actually training a lot of corporates, so how do you sometimes, when there are like hard nuts to crack, if I can put it that way, so how do you kind of take them through this process? Is like, I just want to understand how you make it fit in a corporate world, the modalities or the trainings that you talk about to them. So how do you crack that deal when it comes to that?
So, yeah. So when it comes to the corporate, you know what? I uh, I have studied the Enneagram for a long period of time. It was introduced to me during my past life regression therapy studies,
Mm-hmm.
and I was fascinated. So the Enneagram is a system of understanding human behavior. It is like the Myers-Briggs and all the Big Five and the other personality assessment programs, the Enneagram. So I have studied deeply about it. I have learned a lot. I've read a lot of books. I've done the course and everything. So when it comes to working with corporates, the first thing that any human being, so this I learned in my Amway days when I was a network marketing professional, right? That when you're going to show a business plan, right, the most important, the client is most interested in themselves. They are not interested in you. So
Mm-hmm.
how can you get them interested about themselves? So the first step that I do is introduce the Enneagram. You know what? Let me tell you a little bit about yourself. Would you like to know a little bit more about yourself? Do you know what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are? Do you know why you behave in a particular way in a particular situation? Do you feel that you're doomed to be like this for the rest of your life? Or would you like to know that if you decide and if you are made aware of certain aspects, you can change certain aspects of your life? And then I have their attention. I have their attention. And then I take them through that. That is the first step in any corporate. I introduce them, I get them to take the test, and I take them to through a 2.5 hour program introducing the basics of the Enneagram to them with the entire team in the room. Now, what I do is after they take the test, I ask them to put up the results, the dominant traits of each person on the board there and their names. And
Mm-hmm.
as I'm taking them, explaining each type, then I say, okay, all the two ones, put your hands up. Okay, everybody knows. Okay, the rest of you now watch these people. And when I'm explaining, now you will tell me whether they behave in this way or not. And it is a fun-filled program. Oh, yes, he does this and she does that. Oh my God, this is so true for them. And this is how, they get engaged. And I have them completely sold on my programs after that because they feel, how do you know? How did you know this about us? You say the trust has been built and it's like an intimate relationship has been built with them. And then I take them on a personalized coaching on who am I. First, you get to know who you are. And in that coaching, in those series of sessions, is when I work in three aspects: unburden, unravel, and unleash. Unburdening is working on all your past, all the baggages that you're carrying from your past. And that is where I use all the tools and techniques that I learned in counseling, psychology, and all of those things. Then unravel is I teach unraveling the power of the present moment. I teach them mindfulness, meditation, breath work, and all of that for building present moment awareness. And unleashing is I help them with creative visualization, fear setting, goal setting, future setting, all of that, strategizing their future. What is it that you want in life? How do you want to give back to the world, and do that in the unleashing thing. So this is how I take my corporate training, but it is all based on holistic modalities. It is all
Beautiful.
based, it is very different from any of the usual corporate. It's not about, how can we increase our turnover by this and that, and none of that. This is all about you. How can you become a better person? So in the company that I joined initially, I had a corner room to myself. Initially, people used to just attend my meditation. I had put a meditation program in place. We had got a yoga teacher. He used to run the yoga sessions. And I used to go into the, we had 7 floors. I used to go floor by floor and run meditation sessions for the teams. And then I got a corner office, and then I started having one-on-one sessions. And then I used to work 12 to 15 hours a day. There was a constant flow, because suddenly they found someone who was listening to them without any judgment, without telling them, oh my God, what are you doing, this is so bad. They were able to come and spill out everything that they had been carrying. And I had people who were on the verge of quitting become star performers, just because there was someone to listen to them. I have so many success stories from my stint there when I worked for 4 years as head of wellness. And it was a very, very satisfying and a very gratifying experience. So what I'm saying is that it is all about them. Make it all about them and show your interest in them, and tell them that I'm here for you. You tell me what you want to do, and let me help you chart that course for you. That is how I work with the corporates.
How beautiful. We would love to actually hear more of your corporate experience, which you initially wanted to tell us about, for the next couple of minutes, because I'm just left with one more question as to any tips for these people who are getting into as a trainer, or some of them are already counselors, but they're also exploring the life skill training part of the profession. So I want you to give them some tips and to stay relevant in this field. But before that, we would want to hear more about how you entered the corporate that you were talking about initially, the beginning of the session. And after that,
Yeah.
I think we will have some more time so we can take even some questions from the audience. So before
All
that,
right.
from you.
Yeah. So, like I said, I was in Dehradun. I was running a restaurant also there. I for 5 years, I ran a restaurant called the Madras Tiffin Express, because I saw that people there were so fond of food, and they were eating anything in the name of dosas and idlis. I thought I should give them something authentic. And I was a very good cook, during my time there. My friends used to come. If I invite 10 people, 35 people will come. Oh, Padmaja's house, oh, we are all coming. So I used to enjoy feeding my friends. And so I decided that let me, one day this thought just came to me. Like I said, intuition has played a huge, huge role in my life. I have just followed my intuition blindly without questioning it, right? And it has always taken me to untrodden paths and amazing life experiences, right? And by the way, I'm a biker also. I did the Leh Ladakh trip last year, and again
Wow.
that was an experiment. I ride the motorcycle. I like to do these unusual things. Why? Because I just want to um, feel the blessings and the miracles of this life. In 2014, I went through a complete body checkup, and there was no trace of that disease in my body. That is the power of the inner work. I want to tell each one of you that don't become a counselor and a therapist to earn money, or of course you will make a lot of money if you allow that money to come to you again. But that shouldn't be your basic intent. Your basic intent should be for you to be able to use your skills to the maximum, and to give back to the world with the gift that you have of being a counselor, and allow the universe to give back to you manifold. You will always receive. Do it wholeheartedly, and never, never, ever doubt your expertise. Don't think that you have to be some fantastic person and have these fantastic skills, and no, just go with the simplest things. Are the most powerful things, are what I have seen in my life. The most simplest wisdom is what can create profound changes. Don't complicate what you do, is what my suggestion to my fellow therapists and counselors. Just be you, and believe in you, trust in you. Trust that if you are here on this earth, it is because you have something to offer back to the world. Never ever doubt that, is my only thing. So going back to the corporate thing, I did many experiments in my life, because I am known to be a master manifester. right? All my friends say, oh, this woman, she thinks about it and she has it. It's not just come like that. It is because I apply those tools in my life and I do it as experiments, so that in summers I used to run workshops for school children. It was called Conceive, Create, Conquer. In Dehradun, I used to run it, and I used to teach them these holistic practices of gratitude, of forgiveness, of letting go, of sharing secrets, of inner child work, of all those things. I used to teach them. And if I have to tell them that you can create whatever you want in your life, I have to give them real life examples, right? And I cannot just read it from a book and say, this person did that, that person did that. I think they would relate more if I said, you know what, I was here and now here I am, and this is what I did, and this is how I achieved it. For that, I used to constantly keep practicing those things: manifestation, visualization, all those tools that created magic in my life. And that is what I just kept living, the kind of life that I always wanted to live as a child. And it is also a way of me feeling grateful for this body responding to my wishes, that I want to be well again, right? So I want to use this body as the kind of vehicle that God intended for me to use it for, right? So the corporate people, my corporate sessions were also a series of me just showing them real life examples, because they are very logical, right? 2 plus 2 has to be 4 for them. They say, oh, don't give me some bookish knowledge, you tell me what you know. And that is how. So when I was there, I received this call from the CEO of the company, founder CEO, and he said that you come and do it. I need someone to set up a wellness program. So he gave me an entire floor. I set up a beautiful space for meditation and yoga. I put up a beautiful mural of Shiva, and I put a water fountain in the corner. I put a raking pit for raking sand, which is a mindfulness practice. I put a table with a lot of colors, crayons and color pencils and sheets and mandala prints for them to sit and draw and to do all those things. So basically, I created a safe space for the employees to come and attend sessions at designated times. And also, when they are feeling anxious, when they are feeling upset, they can come there and they can do their release their anxiety with those practices. So this was about my um, corporate work, and I tell you, I was on the verge of quitting because it was so difficult trying to convince them. Then what I did was I made some friends with some top leadership people there, and then I said, just let me sit in your calls and let me just observe you all, what you all do. And sitting through those calls and observing the dynamics between the team and with the client and all of that, I got so many insights. And then I studied. That is when I dwelled deep into the science behind all the practices that I was doing. And I got a lot of scientific data and basis for me to explain to them in a scientific way. And after that, there was no looking back. I was just invited from one floor to the other. Padmaja, you come and sit with our team. You come and sit with our team. You teach us how to do this. You teach us how to do that. It was just amazing how things progressed after that. So, and that gave me the confidence. So when COVID happened, uh, I was working with the organization, and I also, the biggest challenge they faced during that time was the youngsters were straight out of college, right? They didn't know how to cook. They were basically living off Zomato and Swiggy, and at that point of time, there was nobody who was going to deliver. So I ran an initiative teaching them how to cook. So I used to make videos at home every day. I created a WhatsApp and a Telegram group, and I used to put these videos simple: how to knead dough, how to make rice, how to make a simple dal, how to make a vegetable, how to or how to make breakfast, different kinds of simple breakfast. I started putting, and we had thousands of them join, and now so many of them are fantastic chefs. So that is how it happened. But then during the pandemic, I had to leave the company. Why? Because our salaries were flat, to an extent where I couldn't run my family. So I became a consultant at that point of time and started working with a lot of corporates. And at that point of time, like, there was a need. There were so many people, a lot of CEOs and CXOs. They reached out to me for mentoring, because they were going through so much stress as to how am I going to handle my organization. So that is how pathways just opened up. I think COVID time was the time when my work just flourished to the next level. I never imagined that I would ever touch this figure that the figure that I made at that time in my life. And that's why I'm telling you all that don't limit yourself saying that, oh, this is all this will pay, or this is all that I can make. And there is nothing wrong in making money, because good people should make money. You will use it for good causes. Do believe that you are a good person and that you deserve to receive the abundance of the universe, so that you can put it to good use. First, fulfill all your desires and wishes and needs, and then there will be more than enough for you to do for the world also. Take care of yourself and the world around you, right? So this is how the corporate, 4.5 years of me being full-time employee with one organization, and then now I'm working with so many as a conscious leadership coach. This is what I do: conscious leadership coaching. It is not the usual coaching. It is about how can I be a conscious leader and lead people? How can I create more leaders? And that's the whole thing that I coach people on.
How beautiful, Padmaja. So true. It is just this moment, because I think even studies show that major part of our life, either we are in the past or we are worrying about the future. But the very this moment is where we actually can live life. And I think you are a proper example of showing how consciously one can live life. The universe will open doors to you because you are receptive. You are in the abundant mindset to receive what's coming your way. And I think what intellectually was making sense to you started making a visceral sense at a deeper level. And that's where I think you opened up to trying options for your corporate clients. I think that's what I can put it in a nutshell from what your corporate journey has been. And I'm absolutely a congruent person with what you say and what you are. And that's what makes you what you are actually delivering to people who come in your lives. Now, taking us to any questions from the audience, because we do have, I think, about 10 minutes or so. So any questions from?
Yeah, we have 13 minutes, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, please.
Yes, Kiran.
Yeah, hi, Padmajaa. Firstly, thank you thank you so much for opening up. The moment we saw you, what Priya has said, that's so true. You're so graceful, and now you have come across as such a beautiful human being who's opened your life to us. Thank you so much for that. So I had a few questions, three in fact, a couple of them very practical questions and one a deeper question. So the two questions which need some inputs on are theta healing, which you mentioned, and also the breathwork workshop. So this theta healing that you talked about, is it a healing mechanism, or is it something that will take us to a higher consciousness also, in case we're not necessarily looking for healing? That is
yeah, absolutely. Okay, so let me answer all your questions one by one. I'll ask you for your next question after that. Theta healing is a healing modality. You can look for the THINK Institute. Okay, look for it and you will find a lot of practitioners, and there are people who are authorities who will certify you. And it is a beautiful, beautiful modality. I think it is a very scientific modality. See, how theta healing works is, it works on, there is a video that you all must have seen where they show that as you go farther and farther away into the universe, 10 to the power of 1, 10 to the power of 10 to the power of 110, you go and you come to the edge of the universe, and then they bring it back, and then they go into the eye of a lady who's lying down on the grass, and then they go deeper and deeper into her DNA, and eventually they come to a space of a vast space, right? It just goes to show theta healing is based on the principle that you are interwoven into this universe, this whole concept of Maya, right? Illusion. We are all an illusion. We are nothing but molecules vibrating at a high rate. And it helps you to understand that you are the God that, the God that you're seeking is within you. All right. So it is a very scientific way. They teach in a very scientific way. They train you. And it is all about understanding what is your current belief system and how is that belief system coming in the way of your growth. It helps you to identify the limiting belief systems and to replace it with a more positive belief for you, and then for that belief to take root and multiply in your body, right? It is a very scientific way of doing things, and I totally love the whole course. And it is also a way for you to get to higher states. Why? It takes the suggestions in the roadmap of the theta healing takes you into the theta state. The theta state is just before the deep sleep state. Now we are talking consciously, we are in the beta state. When you start taking some deep breaths, you go into the alpha state. And then just before deep sleep, just imagine that you're reading a book and the book keeps falling. And then you pick it up again and you read it again. That is the theta state. And that is a state where your brain can be reprogrammed very easily. Your subconscious mind can be reprogrammed. And that is the whole basis of this, how to take a client into the subconscious state, the theta state, and then to pull out the old belief system and put a new belief system. And we do it saying that from the seventh plane of the creator, I'm giving you a gist of it, that I'm part of the creator, I'm part of all that is. It is now commanded that the creator do this, and this, or pull out these beliefs in this person and instill these new beliefs. Thank you, it is done, it is done, it is done. Creator, show me. So what you're doing here is you're telling the creator to do it, and you're saying, show me, I'm ready to be a witness here. Right? It's a very beautiful thing. So there are many levels in that you can go through. And there is also something called where you can learn to read the body, scan the body, and heal people. It's a very powerful modality. So you can look at it as a healing modality and also as a way to get to higher states. Does that answer your question, Kiran?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. What is your next question?
I look up the Think Institute. That's the one.
Yes, Think Institute. Yeah.
So similar question is breathwork workshop. Are there any workshops that I can attend?
Absolutely. So if you look for Life University or Quantum Life University, which is run by Dr. Newton Kondaveti, they conduct breathwork workshops. They are powerful 6-day workshops. I remember the first time I did it with him. After that 9 days, I did it with the creator of rebirthing breathwork, that was Leonard Orr. And this kind of breathwork comes down from the lineage of the Kriya Yoga, Paramahansa Yogananda, and all those masters, right? It is from that. I think it is one of the most life-changing tools that one could experience and could teach people, right? So I run these for corporates constantly. I take groups of people and take them for 5 days for 2 hours each, because they can't give more than that. I call them at early in the morning. The 2 hours they go through that, then they go to work, then they come back for 5 days. I do, and then there are people who have been practicing it for years and they have not stopped practicing because they saw so much benefit in it. Right? Wow. So you can look for that, or you can look for the rebirthing breath work. You just type and see Leonard Orr. Their organization also still runs these programs. Understood. All right. You can go there and become a certified breath worker. They are called breath workers.
I see. Okay. Lovely. I look at it. So one very personal question. So you said, let the universe give to you. I mean, don't stop stuff and stuff like that. So I am a very methodical person. That's what I'd like to believe. So I tend to plan out things. I tend to think that, okay, this will probably lead to this. And if I do this course, probably this will help me there. This is the kind of visualization that I can do. So basically, I'm a very methodical person. Though my intuition says that go by intuition. Don't go by, step by step. But I just can't stop myself from being so A, B, C, D, cut, like a checklist sort of a person. How do I stop this? Do these breathwork workshops and all help? Or how do I just tell myself that, let it go? Enjoy the process.
See, I think being organized is a nice thing. There is nothing bad about that or wrong about that. I think if you are coming face to face with a kind of a tool and your intuition says do it, becoming methodical after that, I think is a good thing. I don't think you should think of removing that aspect. I think, that is also part of being a perfectionist, which is beautiful. A perfectionist has so many gifts to offer to the world. It is just that, I don't know if you are one, but if you think you are that kind of a person, you just have to stop the voice in the head, which is self-critical all the time. Don't be hard on yourself. Try to be balanced. See, where you need to be methodical, it is okay to be methodical. We all are methodical. Just because we are intuitive doesn't mean that you're just going to sit and wait for some voice to tell you what to do. You have to get up every day. You have to go about your daily duties. You have to pay your bills on time. You have to look at your bank account and check how much money is there, what I need to do, how much I invest, how much I spend. Oh, you need it for that. So don't ever wish that away. I think it's perfect. as long as you're able to understand, what is my intuition and what is my organizational tendency and where it is okay and where it is not okay. That's it. Right. I think, I hope I've answered your question, because I think it's a great gift also to have that, because you could be helping so many disorganized people to become more methodical in their lives.
Okay. I think I need to get the fine balance between these both.
You will just practice, keep practicing it. Be aware. I think the basic building block for anything to change, for us to evolve, is awareness, building awareness. And building awareness happens with meditation, mindfulness, journaling. There is no substitute for. You have to constantly keep a journal on yourself. How am I feeling today? What is happening with me today? What happened through my day? What can I be grateful for? What can I learn to reframe? How would I learn from this mistake? How will I do it the next time? What do I need to let go of? What I need to forgive? How can I take better care of myself? Journaling has been one of the most powerful tools in my healing journey, along with meditation, right? And there is a beautiful modality that I learned from forgetting this teacher called Dandapani. He talks about this practice called Vasana Daha Kriya. Vasana Daha Kriya is Vasana is emotions, Daha is burn, Kriya is the act of burning it. He says that whenever you have some pain or resentment in you, just write it, keep on writing about it every day and keep burning it. Because this is based on one of the laws of physics, that you cannot destroy energy, you can only transform energy. So what you're doing is you're transforming your resentment or anger energy into heat energy by writing it and burning it. See? And you will see miracles happening. So all you need to do is to develop awareness, do practices that will help you build more and more awareness.
Understood. If I can add 2 lines here to the question that Kiran asked, right? I mean, of course, we all know that control in itself is an illusion. We feel that we are in control of things, and the next moment, just the way we all went through the pandemic, none of us would have imagined things that happened to all of us 3 years back, right? 3 or 4 years back, rather. But then I think along with your to-do list, because that's what we work on, right? We need to be organized. How I want to be while performing the task is the awareness that I think ma'am is talking about. Because if I'm performing the task with a lot of tension and stress, then I think I'm not enjoying, whether it's the mundane task or whether it's a more deeper task to work on myself or professional front and stuff. So I think along with to-do, maintaining a to-be list on a daily basis would definitely help you with the kind of question that you had. And I think it has helped me immensely, perhaps, personally. So I thought of sharing that. Thank you. I think one last question we have here. We have one more hand raised. Would that be okay?
Indrani.
Yes, Indrani.
Yeah, absolutely. I have time, yes.
Yes, Indrani.
Hi, Indrani.
Hi, Padmajaa. Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Yes. Padmajaa, my question is, you talked about, I had also the similar question. I wanted to know more about breathwork and theta healing. Just wanted to know if you can do it online or it is something that has to be done, face-to-face, offline.
See, initially it was only done face-to-face, but I think the pandemic made us find ways to connect with people and do. So I do theta healing. I mean, for my clients, I do it online also. Breath work is best done the first time. It is best done face-to-face, because I'll tell you why. When there's a certain kind of breathing that you have to practice continuously, okay? This session can go on anywhere from 40 minutes to 2 hours also. In fact, my first breathwork session went on for 6 hours. Okay. And what happens during this process is, like I said, breathwork is based on clearing the blockages in your energy body, your pranamaya sharira, the 72,000 nadis. And what we are carrying in these nadis are all our past life memories, our ancestors, the pain that they went through, all the beliefs that have condensed as blocks, as trauma, all the trauma that we have gone through that is condensed as blocks in our energy body, because of which your health may be failing, you may be having emotional ups and downs. Generally, there is no feeling of well-being. So when you practice breath work, that breath is going to act like a pump. It's going to get pumped into these 72,000 nadis and push it out of your energy system, right? And that could sometimes bring up pain in the body, in certain parts of the body, and that energy could shift here and there because the subconscious mind, what it says, "Arey yaar, chal raha hai na kaam, chalne do. Why you want to go after it? Let it be." This is what because your mind is thinking that it is your friend, it is trying to save you from pain. It's saying, "Why you want to get into pain? Let it be." But we all know that there is no escaping pain. There is only going through pain, right? And on the other side of pain is the freedom or the growth that we seek. So this breathwork practice can bring up pain in the body. It can bring up things like, I had a client who had acidity all his life, and just doing that breathwork session, he went and he kept on puking. In the middle of the session, he was puking and puking. A lot of toxins come out of the body. And he came back and he said, after those 5 days, Padmaja, I have never had acidity after that. I am able to eat whatever I want. So acidity, the creation of acid in your body is not because your body is having too much acid. That acid is there because of some trauma, some belief that you carry about life, which is creating more acid in your body. When you breathe and you flush out those things, your body comes back to a sense of balance, but you need someone to be there with you and to take you through it. I would suggest don't go for breath work for online. There is a short form of it which I can share with you all now if you all want, which is just for you to clear your head. If you're feeling sleepy on a call, if you're feeling very drowsy or you're feeling tired, you can just do that for a minute and you will be fresh and alert again. Right?
That's exactly what I wanted to ask you. Please take us through some, exercise that we can really experience the process. Yeah, good that you said.
So the short form of this breath work is, it's called the cycle of 20. Okay, cycle of 20 means 20 breaths. Now we break those 20 breaths into 4 sets of 5 breaths each. Okay. Now those 5 breaths, we are going to break it down into 4 fast and 1 slow. 4 fast, 1 slow. 4 fast, 1 slow. 4 fast, 1 slow. Like this 20 breaths. Okay. Now how? There are certain rules for this breathing. The breathing in this is active inhalation and passive exhalation. Okay, it is. I will demonstrate it to you. Also, when you're doing the slow breath, you will make sure that you are filling all the 3 portions. Now, what are the 3 portions? Let me show you. One portion is from your navel to your pubic bone. That is the first portion. The second portion is from your navel to the line of your breast, your nipples. And the third portion is from your nipple to your shoulder. So the slow breath is going to be, these rules apply in the slow pattern of breathing. What I'm teaching you is the fast one. But what I'm telling you is breath work has these rules that you will fill all 3 portions. When you fill your low portion, it presses your diaphragm down and the diaphragm gives a massage to your intestines. Your intestines get exercised. They get cleansed. That is what happens. Your middle portion will expand sideways and your upper portion will expand upwards. If you just think and just catch yourself breathing right now, how deep is your breath? It won't be beyond this point or this point. Just think and think. But where are your lungs still? They are till here, isn't it? We are not even using the free commodity given to us by God, air, to take in fully that our body needs to keep itself healthy. Why do you think we are having so many diseases and illnesses? You see, people say when they look at me that they don't believe that I am 53 years old. Why? I owe it all to breath work. Breath work helps you retard your aging process. It helps you to overcome illnesses. It helps you to have glowing skin. It helps you to have a very pleasant personality. I owe it all to breath work. All right. So in this, 3 portions in the slow process: active inhale, passive exhale. And the third thing is cyclic breathing. There is going to be no gaps between the in-breath and the out-breath and the out-breath and the in-breath. So these rules apply to the what to say, the main kind of breath work that we do. But now I'm going to teach you the short form. Okay. So just watch me doing it, and after that we can do it together. Okay. Four fast, one slow. I did right. I'm not pushing my breath out. I'm allowing my body to deflate it on its own. This is your cycle of 20. Okay, now you want to try it with me? How long did it take, first of all? Tell me. Not even a minute? Not even a minute, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So now try. That, yeah. Kiran, what's your question?
Yeah. So the in-breath is forced. The out-breath is involuntary, right?
Yeah, out-breath is involuntary. In-breath is forced in. That's why you heard me breathe. The out-breath will happen naturally when your body, your chest condenses, contracts, it will push out the breath. You don't have to do that, right? That's it. All right. So quickly we will go through it because I think we have exceeded time. Forgive me, Mansi, but yeah, I would like to share this with you all.
No, sure. We'll do this exercise. Definitely. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Come, let us start. 1, 2, 3, and start. Stay with your eyes closed for a few moments and just become aware of the sensation in your body. Notice any tingling sensation that you may be feeling. Notice any lightness in your head. And whenever you're ready, you can slowly open your eyes.
Thank you, Padmajaa. It feels good actually. No?
Great. Yeah. So this cycle of 20, you can repeat it as many times as you want for a minute or two. You know, this is one set. You can repeat several sets of a cycle of 20 and feel alert. You can get rid of a headache. You know, it is so powerful and so rejuvenating because your brain gets so much oxygen in a matter of a minute. You've got oxygen like you've not got in a month. You know, and did you notice that you found it difficult to take that fast breath and slow breath also? Why? Because you are not used to breathing fully. Now practice this to increase the capacity of your lungs so that, you know, you can live a healthier life.
Thank you so much for this. I did feel a lot of sensation in the head, like in the Kapalbhati.
Yes.
Same thing.
Yes. And you can do this at work. You know, usually I tell the youngsters, you're feeling drowsy, instead of going for a smoke and instead of going for coffee, sit and do a few cycles of this breathing. And it'll improve your focus, it will improve your clarity, it will improve your memory. You will remember what you want to remember very quickly. There's so many benefits to this practice. Beautiful.
And one last question, if is it okay, Mansi and Padmajaa, or shall I just?
I'm okay.
Yeah,
Mansi.
maybe yeah, should be okay. Yes, tell me.
It's a very personal question, Padmajaa. Now that you told me, you know, about your whole journey and all, and about the modalities, one thing that I would like to ask you is, you have said that meditation is a very, very important, you know, thing in the whole process. I as a person, for me, it is very difficult to sit down and meditate. I don't know. The moment I sit down, if I'm alone, that is one thing. Even if somebody is there online, I can do it. But when I'm completely alone, I cannot meditate. Why is it so? And how to come out of it?
Beautiful question, and the most common question I get always. First of all, meditation is about your building that relationship with yourself. So it is always about you with yourself. Okay. So being in company, okay, it is maybe for support, but eventually you have to learn to do it all by yourself. Second thing is this assumption that meditation is supposed to be a state of no thought. I want you to get rid of that assumption. I give you permission to have as many thoughts as you want while you're meditating. That is the whole point of why meditation. Meditation is the only way that you get to know what is happening in your head. First, the basic level.
Absolutely.
I suggest to beginners that when you sit to meditate, always keep a notebook and a pen next to you. Okay. So every time you have a thought, you are allowed to open your eyes, write down that thought, and then close your eyes and then talk to your mind. Say, you know what? I have written it down. Now, can we go back to watching the breath, please? I say this to myself. I coach my mind. I have coached my mind for years and years, and the mind has only given me information that needs action. The mind is my friend. It is trying to bring to my attention things that need to be addressed. So don't ever try to control your thoughts. Can you control your heartbeat even for a moment and say, oh, heart, you've been beating all your life, take a break? Can you say that? No, no. In the same way, your brain, your mind is designed to think. It is just doing its job. So allow it to do its job. That is why we are given an anchor as to watch the breath. The breath is always in the present moment. You keep watching the breath. As you're watching the breath, your mind will wander. If it is consistent, pay attention to what is the mind trying to tell me. Write it down. Keep going back. Go back to the drill of being with the breath, being with the breath. Right? I am the sky. Everything else is weather. So you are this consciousness who's as vast as the sky, and your thoughts are like the weather that come and go. Just remember that you don't have to allow yourself to be taken away along with the weather or affected by the weather. You can observe the weather, note it down, go back to being the sky. Just practice this. I'm sure that your practice will yield beautiful results. Don't ever try to control. The whole idea of meditation is to drop control. Right? I hope this answers your question.
Yes, Padmajaa. Yes. I mean, to be in that no thought zone is very difficult for me. And also, I cannot concentrate because I think I am to some extent very fearful. I mean, I cannot keep my eyes closed for a very long time. I always feel as if something around me. So, and the minute that comes, I feel, as you said, surrender is, I have to kind of surrender myself to whatever it is. I mean, I don't know what
surrender,
it is.
No, plus you are trained to be a counselor. Now use all those tools and techniques on yourself and address those fears. Those fears are valid fears. Address them. Work on them. It is not about avoiding them and shoving them under the carpet. No. First, work on yourself and get all those out of the way, and you will see that your meditation practice will get better and better. And don't be in a hurry for anything. We are deathless beings. We are here for eternity. It is only that we change bodies. So there is plenty of time for everything, and be patient with your journey. Another one very beautiful quote, which is my favorite, is infinite patience is the fastest way.
True.
All right. So I would like to now leave this with you all and not take any more time. Mansi, over to you.
Thank you so much for such an insightful session. And this is actually our last session for the Fireside Chat series, and couldn't have been a better guest than Padmajaa to have here. And for your information, those who are not aware, Padmajaa actually was a student of Life Skill second batch, and I think Premila was a batchmate, even Indrani perhaps. So they have had interactions with her as a batchmate as well. So I can imagine how beautiful the interactions would have been with all these beautiful people around. Thank you so much for your time, your generous sharing. And Indrani, how beautifully you ended with that question, because many have this question and many drop their meditation journey in just the first day or the first few days with this idea that I have a lot of thoughts and I can't keep them away. And just the way Padmajaa says, can you ask your heart to stop beating? No. As much as that is involuntary, the meditation and thoughts go hand in hand. But then there will be a time when in your deep meditation, perhaps those thoughts will actually give you the eureka moment of, wow, this is the answer I was looking for, and I got answer to my question, which was bothering me. So from mindful of thoughts to that is a journey, but of course it is a long journey. It's not like there is no shortcut to it, but it's definitely an enjoyable journey. So thank you so much, Padmajaa, for all the sharings, and the highlight was the breath work that you did with us a couple of minutes back. Thank you so much. And any further questions from you all, if at all there are any, you can write to me. I'll share it with Padmajaa and we'll see how we can get them. answered.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for this opportunity,
So much,
Mansi. And thank you all
Padmajaa,
for being such patient with us. Thank you so much. Yes.
Thank you, Padmajaa, and thank you, Mansi. A really insightful journey, actually. This 1 hour has been like a journey. You have guided us through the whole session so well. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you so much. So with this, we end this series of chat and looking forward to being in touch with each one of you post this. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Be well. Be well.
Bye.
Bye.